state and call the next witness.
Thank you, Judge. The state calls Officer Bernhard.
Sir, just watch your step for me. Once you get up there, can you put your left hand on the Bible, raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right. Once you get comfortable, can you state your full name for the record and spell your last name, please?
Officer Bernhard, Bernhard.
Okay. Prosecutor?
Thank you, Judge. Good afternoon, Officer. Where are you employed?
With the Ocean Township Police Department,
How long have you been with Ocean Township Police Department?
11 years,
And how long have you been a police officer for in total?
since 2012.
Were you with Ocean the whole time?
I was not. I previously worked for, as a special officer with the Long Branch Police Department, and then with the Monmouth University Police Department.
And prior to that, did you have to go to the police academy?
I did.
And how long was that for?
4.5 months,
Which one did you go to?
the Monmouth County Police Academy.
I want to draw your attention back to November 20th of 2018. Do you recall that date?
I do.
Were you working?
I was.
What shift were you working?
Working the midnight shift, 7 p.m. to 7 a.m.
Okay. And at approximately 5:02 a.m., what, if anything, happened?
I was dispatched to 27 Tilton Drive for a possible structure fire.
Do you recall what time you arrived?
Just a few minutes later.
When you arrived, who else was already on scene?
Other patrol officers, Patrolman Redmond was there, Patrolman Marino, Patrolman Bones, Sergeant Malone. There were also firefighters and fire personnel arriving.
Now, when you arrived on scene, what was your primary role?
I was assigned to just make sure that neighbors and onlookers stayed a safe distance away from the fire and just stay out of the way of firefighters that were doing their job.
So, when you got there, can you describe what the scene looked like?
Firefighters were starting to arrive. I parked a little bit away from the house, I believe, and there was a lot of people standing outside, seeing, just curious about what was going on.
Now, who was the individual that you indicated that your role was to make sure onlookers were at a safe distance?
Sergeant Malone. He was the officer in command at the time.
Okay, and did he assign that role to you?
He did.
Okay. Was there anything in particular that Sergeant Malone requested you to do while you were on scene?
There was.
What was that?
There were several surveillance cameras that were mounted on the residence of 27 Tilton Drive. He asked that I asked the homeowner, Mr. Caneiro, where the DVR footage for the surveillance camera were.
Do you recall how he made that request to you?
It was over our radio.
Okay, and so once you received that request, what, if anything, did you do?
I walked over to Mr. Caneiro and I asked him where the DVR for his surveillance footage was.
When you approached Mr. Caneiro, where was he?
His car was parked a little bit down the street south of where his house was. It was facing north, and him and who I believed to be his daughter were both standing outside in the area of his car.
And can you tell us specifically what, if anything, you said to him?
I believe I said where I asked if I confirmed he was the homeowner, and then I asked where the DVR was for his surveillance footage.
And what was his response?
He said, and then he looked away towards his daughter, and then his daughter answered on his behalf and said, in the garage.
Okay, and what, if anything, did you ask him after that?
I asked where specifically in the garage.
And what was his response?
He said, again, and then looked away, and his daughter answered again and said, up top and to the left.
What else did you ask him?
I asked if the cameras were currently running.
And what was his response?
He said that he's been having problems with stuff in the garage and that he currently has a ticket open with one of the companies.
Now, who, if anyone, did you relay that information to?
Sergeant Malone over my radio.
When things are relayed over your radio to, for example, to Sergeant Malone, can other officers hear that?
Yes.
Okay. How does that work? Just if they're wearing, if they have a radio, can they
Yeah,
hear it?
every officer has a radio on their belt. Most officers have a lapel mic like this, and this you could talk into and also hear other officers talking.
Did you speak to Mr. Caneiro at any point again that morning?
I did.
When was that?
Just a few minutes later, I believe.
Can you tell us about that?
Patrolman Marino asked me over the radio if the DVR for the surveillance cameras was specifically a white DVR box.
And as a result of that, what did you do?
I walked back over to Mr. Caneiro.
What, if anything, did you say to him?
I asked specifically if the DVR box for the surveillance cameras was white.
And when you asked him that, where was Mr. Caneiro at that point?
He was now seated in the driver's seat of his car, and I believe his daughter was in the passenger seat.
Was that car in the same area as it was that when you earlier described it to us?
It was.
Do you remember whose car was behind his car?
I believe Patrolman Marino's car, patrol car, was behind his.
When you asked him about the color, what was his response?
Said that he did not remember.
Were you wearing a body-worn camera that morning?
I was.
Was it activated?
It was.
Did you have a chance to watch that body-worn camera prior to today?
I did.
And did it capture your interactions with Mr. Caneiro that you just described?
Did.
Was it fair and accurate? Was it a fair and accurate portrayal of those interactions?
Yes.
S78, I'm showing counsel. I'm showing you what's been marked as S78. Do you recognize that?
Yes.
And what is that?
I believe it's a DVD of my body-worn camera footage.
Thank you. At this point, Judge, the state seeks permission to play S78 and pass out the transcript of that, which is S79.
Okay, you can pass it up. I've given you this charge twice today. You remember?
Yes.
Yes.
Proud of you. But you guys didn't all say yes.
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 Thank you. Yes, you can. Everyone's good? Everyone's got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Prosecutor, go ahead.
Is S78. Pause, please. Pausing at a timestamp, 3 seconds. Officer, can you just orient us and tell us what we're looking at here?
This is me walking towards where Mr. Caneiro was standing, and this is just a little bit south down the street from where his residence was.
Okay. And is this going to be your first interaction with him or the second one? If not, we'll play it and I can ask you.
I'm not
Okay.
sure.
It's
I'm
all
not
right.
sure just by looking
Hit
at
play.
this.
It's your house? Yes. Where is all the DVD stuff for the cameras and everything? in the garage.
Just in the garage?
Yeah.
Where in the garage at?
Walk in the garage and it's all the way up top to the left.
On the top to the left? Do you have them running right now?
I've been having problems with stuff in the garage.
You've been having problems with stuff in the garage?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've been taking over actually one of the companies.
Okay. Alright.
I just want to clarify, we're pausing at 47 seconds. Was that your first or second interaction with him?
That was my first
Okay,
interaction.
thank you, we can continue.
Sure, it's just a said when you walk in the garage, it's to the left. Not upper left corner. Said he's been having problems with his cameras.
Paused at 2 minutes, 22 seconds. Who was that asking you to ask if it's white?
Patrolman Marino.
Thank you.
Is the DVR for the cameras a white box? You don't know? Okay. He's not sure.
Was that the entirety of your interactions with the defendant that day?
Yes.
Okay. And did you how long were you at scene for?
About 2 hours.
Did you have anything more to do with this case?
No, just later that evening, I drove the defendant to the Monmouth County Correctional Institute, but we didn't engage in any conversation.
Okay. Did you, on scene, was your primary role scene security, I guess is what I'm
Yeah,
asking?
just
Okay.
scene security.
Okay. Thank you, Judge. I have no further questions. I can collect the transcripts.
You can. We could just pass them down to juror number 1 and to juror number 9. Okay, Cross.
Good afternoon, officer. So with respect to the first conversation that you had with Mr. Caneiro, I just want to walk through it a little bit. So you were told to ask Mr. Caneiro for this information, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And you asked Mr. Caneiro, where is all the DVD stuff for the cameras and everything in the house, correct? That was your question.
Where the DVR for the camera footage was.
What? approach with what's been marked as S79. This is a transcript of what we just watched, okay? And you can see it's your body-worn camera. It says reviewed by Bernhard, that's you, right?
Yep.
And it has a legend here. BB is Brendan Bernhard, CW is Winkowski, that's another officer. PC is Paul Caneiro, KC is Caitlin Caneiro, and RT is radio transmission. So here is what I was referring to, sir. At the top of page 1, you say, where is the all the DVD stuff for the cameras and everything in the house, correct?
Correct.
What you meant was the DVR, right?
Correct.
Okay. And after you ask that, between Mr. Caneiro and his daughter, you learn it's in the garage.
Correct.
Right, and specifically you learn it's like up to the right. You walk into the garage and it's all the way up to the right, to the, up top to the left, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And then you ask Mr. Caneiro, do you have them running right now? Right?
Yes.
Okay. And Mr. Caneiro's response is, I've been having problems with stuff in the garage. That's his response, correct?
Correct.
So he says stuff in the garage. Problems with stuff in the garage.
Correct.
And then you repeat it back to him and you say you've been having some problems with stuff in the garage, right?
Yes.
And ultimately, so he says yes, you say okay, and then Mr. Caneiro says, I have a ticket open actually with one of the companies.
Yes.
Indicating some sort of IT issue.
Yes.
So, Mr. Caneiro, to be clear, he never says, I'm having problems with my DVR system, specifically, right?
He did not specifically say that.
He just says, I'm having problems with stuff in the garage, and there's no further clarification at that point, right?
We were talking about the DVR for the cameras, though.
Right. Well, you said DVD for you say all the DVD stuff for the cameras and everything in the house was your question, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, and then you ask if they're running, and he says, I don't know, I've been having problems with stuff in the garage, right?
That's what he said.
And so you don't ask him like, what do you mean by that, right?
No.
That's not your next question.
No.
You only have one goal at that point, which is to just learn where it is, right?
Yes.
Okay. So you're not engaging in a full-blown conversation with him, asking him to elaborate on what that meant, right?
I did not ask that.
Okay. And then you then relay, I guess it's over the radio, to Officer Marino where it's located, right? I'm
yeah.
at the top of the next page if you need to refresh your memory.
I believe that was to Sergeant Malone.
Oh, okay, Sergeant Malone then. So you relay over the radio where it is?
Yes.
And he said when you walk into the garage, it's to the left in the upper left corner, correct?
Correct.
And then you say, he said he's been having problems with his cameras recently, correct? That's what you say he said.
Correct.
But Mr. Caneiro never said that to you, fair?
Correct.
He never said I've been having problems with my cameras. He said stuff, right?
Correct.
And maybe that's how you interpreted it, because you were asking him about cameras, but again, there was no further elaboration or clarification. You're assuming at that point, right? You're assuming that he's having problems with his cameras when he said stuff.
I wouldn't say I was assuming. We were talking about the cameras, and he said he's been having problems with stuff in his garage. So I took it as him having problems with his cameras.
Right, that's how you took it, is my point, right?
Okay.
Yes or no, that's how you took it.
That's how I took it.
Okay. And when did this interaction with Mr. Caneiro occur? How long after you arrived on scene?
I don't remember.
Was it, so this was when right prior to the officers were going to retrieve the DVR, right?
I'm not sure. As I testified, I was not really that close to the house. I was worried about seeing security. The other officers were close to the house. They were out of view. I did not see them or where they were.
Okay, but you also know that they got the DVR, right?
Not that evening. I learned after the fact.
Okay. At the time, when they were asking you to ask Mr. Caneiro where the DVR was, you understood that to mean because they were looking for it and wanted to retrieve it. Fair?
Not fair. I asked Mr. Caneiro where the DVR was just because my supervisor asked me to ask him that.
Sir,
You assumed at the time that they wanted the security footage to review, right?
objection, asked and answered.
He gave you the answer that he knows. I'm going to ask you to move on from that question.
Sir, you testified in a previous hearing, correct?
Correct.
In a hearing in this case,
Correct.
right? So I'm going to... So I'm approaching you with what's been marked as D72 for identification. This is a transcript of a proceeding that you participated in back in April of this year, correct?
Correct.
Okay, I'm going to direct your attention to, first I'm going to direct your attention to page 159. And this is labeled Bernhard Direct, right?
Correct.
And this is where you're sworn in. Officer Bernhard, sworn state's witness, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so this is your testimony moving forward, starting on page 159.
Correct.
Okay, now I'm going to direct your attention to page 186. We're going to start at the bottom. And you say, I'm asking you about the security footage, right? And I say, and you didn't explain, like you said, you didn't explain why you were asking him the questions about the security footage because you didn't even know why you were asking those questions, right? And then you say, I would say that's fair to say, I mean, yeah, I wasn't entirely sure. And then you say, I assumed that they wanted security footage to view, but I didn't know why they wanted to view it exactly. Did I read that correctly?
You did.
Okay. In prior testimony, you indicated that you did assume that they wanted to look at it, right?
I also testified that the reason I asked him is because my supervisor told me to ask him.
That may be why. We can agree that that's why you asked him, correct? That's why you asked him,
Correct.
right? But the reason why the question was relevant, why you were directed to ask it, is so that the footage could be viewed, right? It's a reasonable assumption.
Judge, objection.
I don't even know where we're going. Can we come up here, please? Objection sustained.
Okay. Sir, you authored a report in this case, right?
Correct.
And you authored it, so you responded to the scene on November 20th of 2018, right?
Correct.
Can we approach, actually?
Sure.
Officer, obviously, this conversation with Mr. Caneiro happened before the DVR was retrieved, because that's the purpose of you having the conversation with him in the first place, is so that they know where to then find it, right?
Correct.
Okay. So, that was on November 20th of 2018, correct?
Correct.
Your report was not, you authored a report in this case?
I did.
It was not provided to the prosecutor until last year in 2025, correct?
Objection.
What's the relevance of the date of his report?
The fact that it was provided 7 years later, and and the reason is a Spillman reason, which
Okay,
is relevant.
go ahead.
That's correct.
Okay. And so the reason why your report wasn't provided until 7 years later is because at the time that you wrote the report, you weren't able to enter into Spillman. Is that correct?
I wasn't able to enter into that particular call in Stillman.
Okay. And and when did you, tell me if I'm wrong, at the time that you tried to enter your report, you were trying to write it directly into Spillman, correct?
Correct.
And just so the jurors are aware, what is Spillman?
Spillman is the police database that my police department uses, which we write reports on, and there's a lot of police data on it, confidential police data on it, and that's where we write our police reports on.
Okay. And when did you write your report originally?
I'd like to clarify, I believe I previously testified that it was estimated a day or two after the call for service.
Right.
A more accurate depiction would be between November 20th and November 29th.
Okay. So somewhere in a 9-day time period is what you're saying?
Correct.
So originally you thought maybe it was a day or two, now you're saying it could be a little more than a week.
Correct.
You're not sure when.
The report was saved to when Spillman was locked and I could not access it. I wrote the report on a Word document and saved it to my police file on our police department computer. That file was last edited on November 29th
Okay.
of 2020.
All right. So at that time when you attempted to put it into Spillman, Spillman was locked, meaning you could no longer enter your report into Spillman.
Correct.
And that's because the call or the case was closed at that point, is what you're saying?
The Spillman case was locked,
Okay. And why would it be locked?
so no reports could be added or deleted.
Okay. And does that normally happen when the case is concluded?
I mean, in my opinion, the case is still active. I guess if the investigation is concluded, if that's what you...
Well, like, who decides when to lock Spillman?
Objection.
I'm not sure.
He doesn't know.
So, in your report, you discuss your role on the 20th, correct?
Correct.
And at the end of your report, you write NFAT, which stands for no further action taken?
Correct.
Okay, but there was further action taken because, as you just testified, you actually transported Mr. Caneiro that night, correct?
Correct.
And it was the same day, but it was later that evening,
Correct.
maybe going into the next day, but like around midnight or so?
I don't remember the exact time, but yes, later that evening.
Okay. And you didn't memorialize anything about that in your report, correct?
No.
Nothing further, thank you.
No, nothing, Judge.
You can step down.
Thank you, Your Honor.